Cal, another 3 points on the road, a win here at Kettering, 21 unbeaten now away. What was your thoughts on the game?
First and foremost, reflect on the campaign away from home that comes to an end in terms of the regular season today. Delighted. I think that's us secured the biggest points return away from home. I think what the players have done is absolutely phenomenal, and I mean absolutely phenomenal. More points away from home this season than achieved home and away combined, complete points total last season. That's massive. So for the group to have done that in a really demanding league in the National League North, we're stood here at Kettering. We've been to Spennymoor on Tuesday nights, we've been to Boston, we've sort of gone right the way around the country, and to have put that points return on, absolutely delighted with what the players have done. Secondly, really pleased for our supporters. I think they've been absolutely magnificent. A lot gets made of the crowds at home, the followings away from home, the way they've been behind the team, stuck with us. I felt it in the only away defeat. I was amazed with the reaction at full time. It was so supportive, right behind the lads. They've travelled in numbers and they've been rewarded more often than not, but it's fantastic. Brilliant to see that at full time, just genuine delight in the players, in the stands, and it's a really good feeling at the moment. In terms of the game, one of the toughest, isn't it? One of the toughest places to come. I think they were 7th in the table at home, only 3 defeats all year. We've come, you've seen what we've done, and very impressed with our performance, but delighted to reflect over the 23 aways on the whole.
It must please you so much, obviously, going into that playoff campaign. It was a different type of away when you've had to do it a few times this season. There's been times where you can play free-flowing football, obviously there, scrapping for the lives at the bottom. It was always going to be a cagey game, so to come out with 3 points must be particularly pleasing.
Yeah, we're 15 days away, aren't we? We're 15 days from one of the biggest games in the club's history, certainly in recent times. And everything we do has got to be geared towards that. We've had a brilliant week's work. It's important that momentum, it's recognised what that is, and that's about moving forward. So we've had a brilliant week on the training ground, and what we've accomplished this week around working with the players. So made a lot of changes there. I think we've got a good group, and I was really pleased that probably the names that you've been talking about and supporters will go on with real praise for, and maybe some different names, different goal scorer, different man with the assist. Thought some really impressive performances from players that last week I criticised. I was quite clear, particularly across the back line. Really pleasing clean sheet. I just think it was the perfect game. I think we've got 2 perfect games in preparing for the playoffs. I'll name the same 11 next week, identical, unchanged. That's the 11 players that will play against Buxton. And I look at that and go, what we can do with that group to be ready, because everyone's got to be ready, whether they've played, I've just said it in there, 40 games this season, 14 games, whatever their contribution's been so far. We need every single member of our group fit, strong, ready to go for 15 days time. So this is part of that training camp that I touched upon last week, and I'm very pleased with the type of performance it was in a game that had a playoff feel to it for the opposition, because they really needed something out of the game. Next week will be no different. They're perfect prep. So very pleased with the performance, delighted with the challenges coming to Kettering poses you, and delighted with how the players dealt with it.
Excuse my Neil Turner, but you just nicked my next question. Obviously talk about, you've got such a great group, and Darren Stevenson was the man today, you know, stepped forward, some big players are out, and it was the moment of real quality in the game, wasn't it? He took his goal well. Didn't
we fall out, me and Darren? I think that's what I read and I was told. He's been brilliant for us. We've been on a really good run, playing a certain way. His attitude, commitment, when opportunities might have been limited up to this point, he's been an absolute credit and a model pro, and it was really good that he got the goal today. Thought he was very impressive when he came on, did what we asked him to do, and has a role to play. So pleased. Love him as a character, love what he brings to the table, athleticism, power, that sometimes it's what we need and sometimes we've gone with something different. There's nothing more to it. So for him to have scored the goal and for that to be the difference, that was terrific. I think Joe Lynch does really well in the build-up, Anthony Dudley does really well in the build-up, and I thought there were some impressive performances. But you're right to talk about goal scorers, a clean sheet for a back line that were criticised by me and that was very disappointed with the manner of the goals against. To have worked the way they have this week in the build-up to this game, to then stand up to the set plays, to the challenges that come in here poses, to come out with a clean sheet, I think for the goalkeeper, for the back four, for the collective defensive unit, for their intensity in the defending, I think that's a real badge of honour.
1 game to go in the regular season. That game, as you say, against Buxton, they've got something to play for, so obviously it will be certainly an interesting encounter, won't it?
Yeah, and look, we've got something to play for, and that's momentum. Momentum isn't as simple as winning the games before the playoff. It's about moving forwards, and we've talked as a group that when we opened the conversation, it was about having 19 days before a playoff semi-final, because we knew our fate sort of last Saturday when we came back in Tuesday. It's 15 days today, it'll be 14 tomorrow. Every day we've got to make some progress, and we've got to be really clear as to where we're going to be. We won't know our opposition until 4 or 5 days before the game. That's the reality. But we can put real foundations in, real building blocks as to the type of performance. So today was a match day exercise. Delighted with a clean sheet, delighted to have won the game, delighted with a competitive feel to it. Next week will be exactly the same. We're playing the best team in the league at the moment. That's brilliant for those players that, like I say, we put out today, that haven't had as much football. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. That's the situation we're in. That might be the situation we're in for the playoffs. We might have to name that team. That's the reality, and I've got no issues with doing that. If we'll do it in a game like today, we'll do it in a playoff game. So you'll see. That's what we'll be like against Buxton, and it will be a real good way to end the season. My biggest thing is I hope that our season doesn't end next week. So it isn't the last game of the season, it isn't, it's done. It's the end of the regular season. What I hope at full time from the stands, I hope it isn't people on the pitch and an end of season feel. No, but I hope the players are received after the game for what they've done for the football club this season. I've talked about it a lot, probably in the last 7 to 10 days, where we were, etc, etc, etc. But it's been a fantastic season. I want the group of players, they've been a credit to work with. My bit is to enjoy that, but be really clear that I've got a game Saturday and then a playoff semi-final to prepare for, to have the opportunity to lead this football club into a playoff semi-final in the Diva. That doesn't get any better than that. The work will continue for that. We had a little reward for it today, but it's all about 15 days' time.